All right, the Andrew Klavan Show is on the air. I'm not going to do an open today. I'm not feeling all that funny after the events in Las Vegas, and we'll skip the song because the Klavanless weekend sort of got a little bit more serious than we'd like it to, and I'm not feeling actually all that hunky-dunky. As I'm speaking, I'm not going to be talking about this all day, and I'll explain why in a couple minutes. But, you know, as I'm speaking, the death count in this Las Vegas shooting is up to 58 was the last I heard. The injuries are over 500. Worst mass shooting in American history, worse than the Orlando shooting a while back. Here's the president addressing the nation.
Hundreds of our fellow citizens are now mourning the sudden loss of a loved one, a parent, a child, a brother or sister. We cannot fathom their pain. We cannot imagine their loss. To the families of the victims, we are praying for you, and we are here for you. And we ask God to help see you through this very dark period. Scripture teaches us the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. We seek comfort in those words, for we know that God lives in the hearts of those who grieve. To the wounded who are now recovering in hospitals, we are praying for your full and speedy recovery and pledge to you our support from this day forward.
You know, when I first saw this, I woke up. I didn't know about this until I woke up this morning, and the first words that went through my mind were, oh, some evil clown has opened fire on people. And I immediately was struck by the irony of that, because obviously there's this hit movie, It, now, that actually features an evil clown based on the Stephen King book. And I was suddenly thinking, oh, but that evil clown is not actually an evil clown. That evil clown is a creation of an artist who is trying to entertain you, bunch of movie makers trying to amuse you, entertain you, scare you in the good way. That evil clown was actually a work of art, which is always a good thing. This evil clown is actually an evil clown, and that's one of the things that is very tough when we are in this divided state, in this partisan position that we're in now, where everybody's so angry all the time. We're constantly using that word evil. And, you know, behind the scenes, the people here at the Daily Wire, most of us have become very close friends. And we have these political arguments all the time because we have all these differences and we want to iron them out. And obviously, we all want to hear what the other person has to say and try and convince one another. And one of the things that people are always hammering me about is that I won't let them use the word evil unless it describes evil. You know, when they talk about Barack Obama, I always say Barack Obama is not evil. That's not what evil looks like. And, you know, Donald Trump is not evil whether you agree with him or not on any given day, whether you like his behavior on any given day, that's not evil. And the reason I feel that that's important, even though it annoys people because they want to use that word, they want to go to that word, is when you get to the level of evil, you're now talking about extreme action. A guy like the guy who opened fire in Las Vegas, you want to kill him. That's really the only thing there is to do. But with the rest of us, you want to talk, you want to argue. I don't want to use words like, oh, this is a war. I don't want to say, oh, this guy is evil, because even if the consequences of something a politician is doing are bad, that doesn't necessarily mean he intends evil to anybody. And I don't think Barack Obama, who I obviously didn't like very much and thought he was an incompetent, I don't think he intended evil to people. I don't think Donald Trump intends evil to people. And that's one of the reasons I get so annoyed with the way the press covers this and the way people talk about it. Now, the reason I'm not going to talk about this all day is that there's not that much to say. You know, the commentating is something that you do when things need comment. But when somebody opens fire on people, this was a 3-day country music festival. They were in an open area in Las Vegas. This madman went to the high room in a nearby hotel, hammered out the windows, and then opened fire with what sounded to me like automatic weapons. I mean, I fired semi-automatic weapons, and this didn't sound like that. It sounded like fully automatic weapons. And he then killed himself as the police were going in. Here's his brother. The guy's name is Stephen Paddock, and his brother, Eric Paddock, has no idea why he did this. ISIS is claiming credit for this. I'm not. I'll wait and see. I'm not buying that. That's like me claiming credit for like writing Shakespeare's plays. I think ISIS at this point, ISIS is about the Islamic State is about to be like an outhouse in a desert. After our military gets through with them, so they're going to claim as much damage as they possibly can. Here's the shooter's brother just saying he doesn't know what happened. He looks as baffled as anybody.
He's never even drawn his gun. It makes no sense. He's never hit anybody. He's never...
Gun enthusiast or just a few?
Well, he had a couple of handguns, I think. He had a safe with a couple of handguns. He might have had one long rifle, but he didn't have any... he had no automatic weapons that I knew of at any time. There's no... it just makes no sense.
That's now being reported that the guy's father was a bank robber who was on the FBI's most wanted list, so there's some kind of history there. But again, it's just too early to know, so I don't want to go off speculating. Here's the reason I don't want to talk about this all day. At this point, like I said, this is a job for the police, not for a commentator. This is a job where the police go and gather information and do the actual job of gathering information. This is a job for the terrific people who work in the hospitals, who take care of people who are injured, people who are in shock. So many, over 500. Obviously these are people who went out to party. That some of them probably didn't even know they were hurt until much later, and some of them may not even know whether they're hurt. They're in such shock. When I see people trying to politicize these things, and because the left owns the media, it starts with the left, right? We know how it works. If a Muslim does it, well, it's not all Muslims, but if a white supremacist does it, then everybody in the GOP is somehow guilty of being a white supremacist. If it's a Bernie bro, like it was at the softball game in Washington, well, we can't blame Bernie bros, but, obviously, if it has anything to do with the right wing, then suddenly all right wingers are to blame. And if they can do nothing else, it's the anti-Second Amendment agenda. Hillary Clinton tweeted this morning, the people were running because they heard the gunfire. Imagine how bad it would be if the NRA had its way and you could buy silencers, as if this guy was limited in his actions by the law. I feel that, I would like to put a silencer on Hillary Clinton so that, like, when she opened her mouth, nothing came out. But, like, that's neither here nor there. So what happens? We fight back. We fight back, and we say, no, this is it's not about guns. It is about Bernie. It's not about it is about Muslims, whatever. And we become part of it. And we become part of it. All the while, all I can think is that some mom and dad sent their kid off to a concert yesterday, and the kid's not coming home, and like that's all I can think about is like you're standing next to your wife having a good time, and suddenly your wife is gone, suddenly your husband's gone. That's all I can think about, and I can't bring myself to get into that conversation. I cannot bring myself. I don't want to allow myself to be dragged down into that conversation. The fact is whether Islam is a problem or white supremacism is a problem or not a problem is something that you look at over time. That's something you see over time. If there's one incident that illustrates that, using that as the building block of a larger narrative is kind of despicable. The narrative is going to be there after the incident is gone, after these people are healed, the wounded are healed, after the dead are mourned. Believe me, the landscape is going to be there. The political landscape is going to be what it is, and I don't want to be dragged down in it. This is something that's happening all over, that in our entire society, is that you feel like you have to fight back. The voices of the left especially have so much power. They have so much of the media. They have so much of the entertainment media. They have so much of the education classes, the academies and all that stuff, that you always feel like you have to fight back. And that is a lot of what's going on. So